Welcome. We're back to another episode of the Streetpreneur podcast, the home for innovative and creative entrepreneurs, small business owners, as well as startup companies. And we love to cover everything that has to do with entrepreneurship. And today I have a very special guest. He's been in this notary business for over 19 years. He's well experienced in the notary business. He's helped thousands of people start their own notary business. You've seen him all over YouTube. A lot of you are familiar with his face. You've seen him at different networking events. He's well respected in the notary business. He's also the owner of B1 Notary Academy. And so, excuse me for slowing that down, because I didn't want to get that mixed up.
I appreciate it.
But we're back. Streetpreneur is back, and we're glad to be back. And I want to welcome all those new subscribers who are new to the channel and the old subscribers who've been with us for some years. So we're back. We got a lot of great interviews coming up with a lot of great entrepreneurs throughout the country. And we want to start off first with our first guest is Mr. Andre Hatchett. Welcome to the Streetpreneur podcast.
Thank you for having me, brother. Appreciate it, man. It's an honor to be here.
Okay, tell us a little bit about how you got your start in the notary business, and I want you to take your time, walk us through A to Z.
A to Z, gotcha.
What does it take to get started in the notary business? But first of all, we want to go back and talk about how you got your start in the notary business.
All right, so many moons ago, I had a friend who said that another guy who I knew but we weren't like friends yet, said he shows up somewhere, he makes $35 for 5 minutes, $75, $150 for 5 and 20 and hour appointments. I was like, well, what is this thing? So at the time I was working as a teacher's aide and the youth basketball coach, working with special needs children. And I had the friend connect me to the other, now great friend, Ricky, and I just shadowed him for a day. I was like, yo, like, what are you doing? Like, what is this thing? And I saw what he did. At the time, I was making $100 a day, $100 for the whole day. Then I saw him make $75 in like 15 minutes for an appointment. I said, oh, shoot, it's up. So ever since then, I took the test the following week or weeks. Then I failed the first one, passed the second one. And 18, 19 years later, here we are.
Okay. And what city where were you located at that time?
New York. I'm a New Yorker.
New Yorker.
I'm a New Yorker. Yeah.
Okay. Big city of dreams.
Big city of dreams. Shout out to my New York.
There's a lot going on in New York right now.
Yeah.
So, as far as you passing is it something similar to like a smaller bar exam or just a certification course when you mentioned, or just similar to just a regular license or? Yeah,
so it's in New York, it's 40 questions. You have to pass 28, I believe, 28 or higher to pass. I'm not an academician. So school and formal testing was never my thing like that. So once I failed, I was like, all right, cool. I took a class. I failed. I took a class to help me study. Then I passed it. My mom actually found the class. Shout out to my mom. Found the class, and then I signed up for it. And yeah. So it's not hard, but you got to study. It's not hard, but you got to study. And not every state has a test, but New York and California make everything harder than it has to be for some reason. I do not know why. But yeah, that was it.
Okay. So after you passed the test and you received your license, what was the next thing that you did? How did you go out and find clients? What was your marketing strategy at that particular time as far as acquiring clients?
Well, I had a leg up because Ricky was already in the business. He was doing well. So I got my commission in the mail. Well, I got the passing test in the mail. I had to send in my commission and $60, $40. Then 4 to 6 weeks later, I got my, sorry. It's a long time ago. So passed the test. I had to send in a check. Got my commission about 4 to 6 weeks later. When I got my commission, I went and got my license. I went and got my stamp. The day I got my stamp, I told Ricky I got my stamp, and he had an assignment for me.
Okay.
So he's like, okay, great. It was in Scarsdale or Eastchester, which is a suburb a city in Westchester. And I showed up. I was nervous, but I did it. I made like $46, and I was there for maybe 10, 15 minutes. And I said, holy shit.
Yeah, I can do this.
Yeah, it became real.
Okay.
And I've been doing it ever since. So I had a leg up because I had a friend in it, but I also got involved on some paid marketing sites. Some of them aren't around, some of them are. Notary Cafe is one of them. Yeah, that site's been around for a long time. Notary Cafe, Notary, Rotary.
Okay.
And I just did a lot of cold calling. Did a lot of cold calling to companies who need notaries.
Right.
Cold emailing.
Okay.
Got in with some law firms, and I was able to make a few $100 a day pretty quickly.
Okay. So when did you decide to make that move from New York to Atlanta?
I came to Atlanta. So I got my house 2019. I was here about a year before. Oh, yeah, about a year before that. So 2018-ish?
Yeah.
Yeah, 2018. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Did you have to transfer your license from New York to the Georgia notary license, or how did that process work?
It's a new format, new system. So I'm actually licensed in both states.
Both states.
I still have a property and everything in New York. So I was able to just take a test here, got my license here. So yeah, licensed in both. Duly licensed.
Okay. So what are some of the challenges that you faced coming from New York to the Atlanta area? What were some of the changes that you had to adjust to? Or did you have to switch your marketing strategy up to start getting into the notary business? I know you were networking with other business owners and things like that. So how did you able to make that transition as far as acquiring clients in the Atlanta, Georgia area versus what you did in New York?
So the good thing about this business is the formula doesn't change much depending on where you go.
Okay.
Which is why when people ask me, can I make money in XYZ city and XYZ state? It's like, yeah, you can make money. People need this stuff all over the place.
Right.
So it was a lot of the same strategies.
Okay.
Google Places, Google Ads, Yelp listings, cold calling, emailing. And I had some clients who I told I was licensed here and they gave me work. But for probably the past decade or so, I've been middlemaning out most assignments. So I don't do most assignments myself anymore.
Right.
So let me give you guys just some practical numbers. So if a company pays me $300 for some fingerprints, I'll find somebody to do them for $150. I keep $150. And for that, I could be anywhere I want to in the world and make the money.
Okay. As far as equipment and startup costs, if I'm new getting into the notary industry, what would be my startup costs?
Questions, by the way.
And what equipment would I need to have to be able to operate my business?
Yeah. So one of the reasons why I started, because I've always had the entrepreneurial spirit, but I didn't always have a bunch of money. So the startup costs were, and then they still are, which is wild, $500 or so.
Okay.
And you don't even need the whole 500 at one time. It could be 200, then you get paid 2 weeks later, 200 more.
Right.
So notary license, notary stamp, notary commission, testing. On a low end, maybe $80. Higher end, let's say $250 on a higher end, right?
Okay.
You need pens, you need paper, logo.
Your laptop.
You don't even need a laptop right away. It helps, but you don't necessarily need a laptop right away. But you probably need a printer. So all that can be done for under $500.
Okay, under $500. All right. So those who are listening, make sure you're taking notes. Because one thing about Streetpreneur, I give very informative interviews. Everything is very educational.
You do.
Bring out your iPad, bring out your notes. Please take notes and write this down if you're interested in being a notary and getting into starting your own notary business.
Yeah.
Let's continue moving right along. How much money can I expect to make in the notary business? This is around a basic kind of figure that I can look to earn year one.
So as you said earlier, that I've partially having the business for 18 years, I've been teaching it formally since 2015 was the first. Was my first academy cohort. So I've had helped a lot of people make a lot of money. Right. Here goes the numbers, and if I have to break it down with some percentages. About 15 to 30% of people I know, they make between $2,000 and $6,000 a month, right? $2,000 and $6,000 a month.
Okay.
12 to 18% make 8 to, this is rare, $100,000 a month.
All right. Yeah, you got to be. That's years in. A lot of years in.
Not necessarily.
Not necessarily?
There's a guy named Knowledge. Shout out to my man Knowledge. He's a young guy, too. He's under 30.
Okay.
He's just great with systems, and he invests his money. So he started with me probably 3 years ago.
Okay.
And he was emailing me last year saying, hey, Dre, I had a $6,000 a week, $12,000 a month. Then he emails me November, said he had a $30,000 a month.
Okay.
Then he hits me... was it April? April or March, he had $100,000.
Right.
So what he does, he takes the same systems and expanded it. So he middlemans jobs all over the country.
Okay.
He has 14 people answering the phone in Jamaica.
So he has his own call center.
Yeah.
Small call center.
And he does what most people would never do. He spends $3,000 a day on ads.
Oh, okay. That's
$3,000 a day.
Yeah, sure.
But if I had to give you percentages, a good amount of people make between $2,000 and $6,000 a month if they take it even semi-seriously.
Okay. Let me ask this bit. I know you probably get this question all the time. I work a full-time job. I want to do this as a side hustle.
Yeah, that was me.
And some people want to do this as a full-time business.
Yeah.
So when they ask you that question, you kind of lead them which way. I know everybody's situation is different.
And that's why I try not to give blanket info back because I love the situation. So some people have kids.
Right.
Some people have grandkids. Some people are on their own.
Yes.
Men and women have different dynamics in their relationship.
Yeah.
If a woman who's out of work and a guy who's out of work, two different dynamics
Two
in
different
a relationship.
situations. Right.
So my thing is, yes, you can do it while you have a full-time job.
Okay.
I did it while I had a full-time job.
Okay.
And I just did it in the evenings or weekends. I made between $300 and $500 at least 3 or 4 days a week while I had a job.
That's still good. Yeah.
Really good money. Yeah.
Still $2,000 a month. Yeah. Okay.
While I had the job. Right. So I'm not one of the entrepreneurs, and I actually hate when people do this, when they tell people just leave their job if they're not happy.
Yeah,
I think
no, don't do that.
I don't think it's good, especially in our community.
Right. Not if you don't have clients already.
Not if you don't have clients. Not if you don't have
bring in to cover your salary.
Exactly, money in reserve,
revenue coming in to cover your salary.
And but nowadays there is the gig economy where there's Uber Eats, DoorDash. So there is a way to make money if you need to hustle some money up, which wasn't there before.
Right.
But I have helped a lot of people leave the full-time workforce. If I had to give you a number, probably 20-ish%, maybe 30% of people, probably close to 30% of people who I've taught have left the full-time workforce when they were ready. So it is possible, it is doable. It all depends on the person.
Yeah.
Some people just go harder than others. Some people buy the training and they log in 6 months later when they get fired or when the boss pisses them off. Some people are going to pay for it, buy it, or watch me on YouTube and take action or listen to this podcast today. And they'll be up and running in 30, 60 days making money.
That's true. Another situation, I know you probably are familiar with this question that people ask. Can an ex-felon start a notary business? I know you probably get that all the time.
I do.
My brother just got out of jail. My sister just got out and she needs help. And
people need help. Okay. So they can own the business. They might not be able to be licensed.
Okay.
So depending on the state, they have different rules regarding your license.
Okay.
Most times felonies is an automatic rejection. I would still apply anyway.
Right.
Because you might be able to give a letter, reference letter, character letter stating that you're on the right path now. But you can own the company because no one really cares who you are. They just want someone to show up
and notarize
and downtown Marriott Hotel to notarize the power of attorney and the will for $150. So and you can get subcontract the job to somebody who is licensed.
Oh, okay.
So you can own the company. You might not be able to get licensed. But I will still apply anyway. Okay. And if you can't get licensed, it doesn't matter because you can just middleman out the jobs anyway.
Okay. All right. As far as your marketing strategy, as far as getting other clients, you all over social media on a lot of different platforms.
Yeah.
Can you tell us which platforms have helped your business increase revenue more than others, or is it just about the visibility?
As far as the coaching or the actual business, which one are you talking?
Coaching, both.
Okay.
We'll stick to business first. We're going to get to coaching.
Okay, the business.
Right.
Google Ads.
Okay.
Yelp, Bing, cold calling, cold emailing.
Okay.
Yeah, those have been my best revenue sources from the actual business.
And someone is looking to get started, what would be their ad budget? Would you recommend from
they could do 30 a day?
30 per day? $30
a day it will get them some leads. Yeah. But I'll say this too, you don't need ads to start. It just helps you. You don't need it.
Right. Okay. All right.
And there's a website called SnapDocs. SnapDocs is either a low fee or is free. Now, SnapDocs, you don't get paid the most because they're a middleman platform and they take part of the lead cut. But, I mean, income is income, right? So it's a great way to start. So snapdocs.com, if you guys want to get some leads. You won't get paid the most, but it's a win.
Okay. We want to go back a little bit about the pandemic and of course, during COVID situation. Is the notary business recession proof? How were you able to stay afloat with your business in the middle of that, the crisis situation that we were in? Were you still able to sustain, or were some of the people you coaching and mentoring at that time when everything was shut down, I know everybody took a loss, but was it a great loss? Is it still kind of recession proof, or was still kind of business going as usual?
It's recession and pandemic proof.
Okay.
Which I didn't know was pandemic proof, but I didn't know that it was recession proof.
Okay.
I made more money, and everybody made more money, and I was surprised because I didn't know what would happen. It was the first time.
This was the first time, right?
Yeah.
A lot of uncertainty. Yeah.
People made more money because a couple of things happened. Interest rates were lowered.
Okay.
So a lot of notaries focused on loan closing. So they got more refinance, more purchase closings. Closings pay low end 80, 90, higher end 300 per closing. So that went well. People had more disposable income to buy coaching programs, so that went well. A lot of people were so nervous about what was going on, they got away from the fancy stuff on Instagram and they got into need-based stuff. So I became more popular because people were like, oh, that makes sense, and I need money, so let me holler at Dre. So no, it was up. It was up for my service business, for my coaching business, and my students came in, yo, Dre, and they kept making more money. I was like, whoa, so this thing is really pandemic proof.
Okay.
I didn't know.
Yeah, a lot of people wanted to know that.
Yeah.
All right. And the next question would be industries, because I know some industries, notaries in certain industries make more than others, I'm sure. Okay. Concerning the real estate, concerning legal, maybe medical. Can you just break down the industries as far as notaries that probably generate more income than others?
Okay.
Because it might be a real estate agent watching this now and be like, hey, I didn't know I could start legalizing the notary business or the medical or the legal. Just kind of give us a small breakdown of which particular industries that you can go into even though you're already in your career.
Yeah.
Just kind of give us a small breakdown.
Another good question. You're good at the Streetpreneur podcast.
We do our research.
You do.
Good.
So especially realtors, I think they should become mobile notaries.
Why?
Because they're already in the people business. They already know loan officers. They know people who need paperwork done. And a lot of realtors, their income is shaky.
Yeah, that's true.
And you could be great at so I was a realtor back in the day in New York. And I left it because you could do everything right and still not get paid. And I was pissed off. I was pissed off because I had some deals. I got the buyer the price they wanted, the cash back, the seller's concession, everything. And they backed out the deal. And another deal died too. I was like, yo, I did all this work and I'm not getting paid. So yes, I think more realtors should become mobile notaries. Which services should you focus on to make the most money? So here's the thing. Wherever you focus on, you will make money.
Okay.
If we're talking about per appointment, fingerprinting is the highest or amongst the highest.
Okay.
And estate planning document. If you focus on those two, you'll win. So fingerprinting is a win. So let's say for me, I think it's $150 I charge per person and then $25 per card. So most people need 2 to 4 sets of fingerprints. Right. So if I charge $150 to show up in the first card and $25 per additional card, and they have, let's say, 3 cards, that's $225. Right there. Right. Let's say that IBM calls me, and there are companies who call us because they need to fingerprint 5, 10 people. And they all need, let's say, 4 cards. That's $225 times 10 people. Okay, that's like a lot of money right there. Or 5 people, or 3 people. Amount. Yes. So fingerprinting, estate planning documents, wills, power of attorneys, healthcare proxies, sometimes living trust in there too. Right. Basically, estate planning is what people do who have money, who want to transition their assets to when they move on to a better place. If they get sick or whatever, they have power of attorneys involved for people who can sign on their behalf when they aren't there. Right. They pay well because people who have these documents have money to pay you well, so they don't really negotiate the fee that much. Okay. And law firms, if they hire us, they pay us. So at the low end, I did one a few days ago, and the guy needed 2 witnesses, and he needed 2 wills, 1 power of attorney. I charged him $350. I paid my friends $50 to each to read the witness. I made $250. If I was there more than half an hour, I would be shocked. Probably more like 15, 20 minutes.
15, 20 minutes.
Yeah.
You're in and out.
Yeah.
Okay.
$250. I got for myself. So.
All right. Good deal. I want to touch on AI technology. This AI, how will changes in your industry, how will AI technology at all, if at all, make any changes to your particular industry? I'm sure it will in some form. I'm sure you've thought about this, or maybe need to think about this, because I know everybody's using AI in some form or beginning to. I think next year is really going to take off.
So there are things that happen with AI that I'm shocked. You could type in one or two sentences and get a 2-minute video created. So AI, it caught me a little bit off guard. For our industry, well, there are already remote notarizations where people can get documents notarized online. Not in every state. I think that's going to expand more.
Right.
But as far as our industry is really built on us being an impartial witness on behalf of the state.
With your presence, actual being there.
Our presence being there or
AI
virtually.
won't be able to, right.
So I don't know if people are going to want to risk their wills that they have 4 brownstones in 2 franchises and a Roth IRA that has $2 million into technology. I don't know.
Okay.
So we will see what happens.
Yeah.
But I would be shocked if it kind of replaced us, because we're there to really make sure that people are who they say they are.
Right, because I know you're going to have this conversation again about AI in your academy.
Yeah,
it's going to come back up again.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
We just kind of touching on it earlier here, so just to kind of put it on people's minds. So,
I have a question for you.
Yes.
How'd you get the name Streetpreneur Podcast?
Streetpreneur came from my entrepreneur journey when I first started in the music industry.
Okay.
And I started off distributing flyers, and I had a promotional company, and it was called Street Masters. And they were like, man, you be in the streets all the time. You guys out. We were doing promotional flyers for Def Jam, Universal Records, and everything in the streets. Anyway, I'm originally from Memphis.
Okay.
And so that's kind of how that name came about. And they said, man, you guys are streetpreneurs. So I just held on to the name.
I like it.
Because a lot of club promoters and concert promoters hired us to handle their street promotions.
That's dope.
So I've always been doing street promotion for major record labels, nightclub owners, concert promoters, and that's kind of how that transitioned over.
I like it. Good stuff.
And so I just held on to the name. I also had a hip hop magazine too.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, with that same name, where Street Masters was that name, and that kind of transferred over.
Shout out to Memphis.
Right.
All right.
Yeah, so we end up helping a lot of entrepreneurs who were street vendors at the time, and as far as promoting their businesses for them. They're like, man, you just need to call them guys called streetpreneurs. And that's kind of how that whole thing. And
That's
I definitely had to rush and get it trademarked.
Good for you.
But that's another situation. But
All right.
I'll break down my story in another podcast coming up.
Cool,
That's a whole nother thing. But I'm glad you asked. You're the first entrepreneur really to ask. So, yeah, I definitely appreciate that. Is this business, we want to talk about scaling.
Yeah.
Scaling the notary business. I know you got a lot of coaching clients that you're coaching right now.
Yeah.
When do you recommend to them now is the appropriate time to scale the business?
That's another good one. It depends on the person.
Yes.
Not everybody wants to manage other people.
Right.
So, and I'm not one of those people who thinks that every business you're into, you need to maximize. Some people literally just need an extra $3K a month and they're good. Okay. Some people, like my man Knowledge, who wants to make $130 a month, right? So it depends on the person's personal goals. What I do tell them, though, is never too early to scale. You just have to be ready for it. So let's say that, let me give you an example. So I was nervous to middleman out assignments. Middlemaning is when somebody pays me higher price, I have someone else do the job for a lower price. Because I was nervous about people messing up, stealing my clients, et cetera, et cetera. But then I was in a car accident in 2015. So 2014, 15. And I had to outsource out my jobs because I couldn't walk very well for a certain time period. Right? So it all depends on the person's goal. If they say, yo, Dre, I want to make the most money possible, and I don't want to leave my job, I don't want to have to leave the house for every appointment, you could do it today. What you're going to do is you're going to pitch your services to companies on a nationwide level, and you're going to say, hey, look, I have great notaries all over the country. just call me. I can get your order filled, and I have a little script and a little pitch thing that I tell people to do. But you can start whenever you're ready. Okay. The simplest way to start is if you already have a client who's giving you $200 orders, you tell the client, hey, look, I'm serving you in Brooklyn and Manhattan, but I have people all over the country. Do you have more work that you need filled? And let's say that they're giving you 10 orders in New York a month. Now they give you 40. You charge the clients the same $200. Yeah, people do the jobs for $100. Bam.
Okay.
I call it the I'll date you then marry you strategy. Okay. Right? I'm dating you with doing the jobs myself. Right. But now I'm going to ask you to marry me, with give me all your work all over the country, and I'll get the orders filled.
Okay. So briefly, when did you make the transition into coaching? We want to touch on now the mobile Notary Academy. Yeah. When did you start the Academy, and what are some of the benefits of someone joining the Academy?
So started coaching formally 2015, but I've always had this big brother coaching thing about me. So when I first learned about the business, I taught some friends of mine, some college friends, some friends I've known for years, business, and they've been doing it full time for a little under how long I've been doing it for. But formally 2015, when I was in the car accident because I couldn't really move. Right. So I said, I need to use my brain more, because my body just can't do what it needs to do. Right. So that's when I started and launched my first online academy, 2015. Okay. What can you learn? So with me, the best feedback I've received is I've gotten people from a couple things who are going to go back to school because they felt that they need to have another degree to earn more money. But instead they realized, I can just pay Dre a few $1,000 and I could put $1,000 into the business, give or take, and I can make the money that I would have made with the extra degree. Okay. They tell me that I'm able to take things that might be complex, but to turn them into a simple formula and easy to digest formula. That's probably the biggest thing that I get from people is they went from confused, an idea, stagnant, unmotivated, to structured, simplicity, and action orientated. Okay. So,
and what is the cost to join the Academy?
Yeah, so I have a couple of introduction programs for $100. I have a 4-month accelerator, as you said earlier, B1 Academy. That is $1,500 for 4 months, and we do that 2 or 3 times a year.
Okay, and any other digital products that you sell or digital courses that?
So I mostly do one-on-one coaching now. Oh, okay. Currently. And the notary stuff, I have two offers with that. The sign and stamp with confidence is probably the most popular currently. Okay. That's what you had to notarize documents. Okay. People get nervous. All right. I don't notarize documents. I'm scared of messing up. So I said, all right, cool. So I made it real simple. Sign and stamp with confidence, and I show people how to notarize documents. That's on the lower end. It's like a couple $100 for that one.
Okay. Any other business tips for someone looking to start this, to get started in the notary business? Can you just give out a few tips as we're preparing to close?
I have a few tips for business in general, and I'll give notary tips. Know who you are. Yes. And know who you ain't. Right? So not everybody should be a coach. Not everyone has the capacity. Not everybody has.
So many people on social media calling themselves coaches, and I ain't gonna. That's a whole nother topic. But
so not everyone has it, and you don't need to make money. Right. I make money. I told you guys I made $250 with the business, and I was there for half an hour. Right. So there are pros and cons to everything, but know who you are. Know who you aren't. Okay. Trends come, trends go. If you need money, do needed stuff. Okay. So whether it be mobile notary, appraisal, home cleaning business, that's good money too, home cleaning business. Yeah. You do what's needed if you need money, all right? So those are just some general tips. Okay. Another one is do what you do. 1 week is this, 1 month is that, 4 months later it's this. Right. Everything you're looking at probably can make money. Okay. But you might not be a good fit for that industry. Does the industry align with you? And what's your level of focus? I think a lot of people should be investors and not entrepreneurs. Why? Because they don't have the discipline, they're not focused, the time management, the money management, and they're just not going to put in the work. So they should be buying stocks every week. Right. let's say Google, Apple, every time they get paid a Roth IRA and get 2 or 3 properties, and that's how they grow their wealth. All right. So those are just some things I want people to think about. Know who you are, know who you ain't, and get accountability.
Okay.
Get accountability and pay for the accountability. Get someone to stay on top of you who's going to help you make sure you follow through. Information's out there, but people's follow through sucks. Most people have very bad follow through. and the thing is, that's okay. Right. But you need to know where your shortcomings are, because then you can hire somebody to help you with it. 2 people who are overweight saying that they're going to get fit together, it can happen, but probably not. But 2 people who are overweight who have a personal trainer,
yes,
they're probably going to get to their weight goal, right? Or better shot to get to their weight goal. Notary, specific, pick a few different niches, stick to it, put in 45 minutes of studying 4+ days a week. I don't even tell people, study every day, work on it every day. That sounds good, but it just doesn't really work like that. Okay. 45 minutes a day, 4 to 5 days a week. That's the magic time frame you need to be able to study and implement. Block off your time. Block it off. Some people are people pleasers. Okay. So if their cousin calls them, they going out. If their kids need them, they're going to tend to their kids. If their work friends need them, they're going to go there. You need to sit down and focus. Okay. The most focused person wins. Okay. Do those things and you win.
And you'll win.
Yeah.
All right.
It's not tough. It's a lot of simple stuff.
Right. What are some of your future goals coming up that you have for the remainder of this year, and anything you're looking to do 2025? Is it to expand the academy? Is it to open up your own notary school? Or tell us about some of your future plans.
Yeah, so I do stuff outside of notary, even though a lot of people don't know that.
Well, touch on some of it. Yeah.
I want an apartment building.
Oh, okay.
I want an apartment building and to develop some real estate.
Oh, okay.
So that's something that I'm working on, literally right now.
Okay.
I do have some properties.
Okay.
I got my first property actually 20 years ago.
Oh, okay.
in New York, I was a young guy.
All right.
So that's it.
Okay.
Grow the academy, some more real estate. That's enough for me right there. So I'm not a person who needs to have a ton of goals. I actually do better with less goals.
Okay, I got you.
Yeah.
And we want to thank you for coming out to the show today.
Thanks for having
I hope
me.
this episode was very informative. I hope all those people who are looking to get into the notary business, tell them how they can contact you. What are the best ways to contact you?
Yeah.
And to definitely enroll in the Notary Academy.
All right. First of all, it's an honor to be here. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Follow me on Instagram, easiest way, Andre C. Hatchett, Andre C. Hatchett on Instagram. There are fake pages. As of today, it has like 45,000 followers. So follow that page. Don't follow the other pages. We would love to have you in the academy. All the links will be in my bio. And feel free to watch me on YouTube too, Andre C. Hatchett. I also give out a lot of game on there. Because coaching has become so popular, people think every coach is the same. I've literally been coaching over a decade-ish, and I've been in the business that I still run myself for 18 years. So people say, hey, what makes you different? Well, I actually have the business. So that does make me a little bit different than a lot of other people. Yeah. Okay. And I'll be glad to have you guys and help take us to the top.
Yeah. Well, you heard it straight from the Notary King himself. And I hope this episode was very informative. You all learned a lot from this particular episode. I want you all to keep watching, keep listening. Please hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. Tell your friends and other businesses associates to subscribe to the channel. If you're an entrepreneur yourself and you would like to be a guest on Streetpreneur Podcast, please email us or go to our Instagram page, Streetpreneur Podcast, Streetpreneur Network. And we definitely look forward to having you as a guest on the show. And I want to thank everybody. Continue to subscribe and pass the word. Thank you.